Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Lots of thought going on recently. We spend an awful lot of time in our cockpits, and that's what we've been exposed to so far in regards to ship interiors. And ship interiors in Elite Dangerous is something of a contentious issue. Elite is very good at encouraging for us to go out exploring, for us to go trading, engage in combat, even mining, and I hate mining. We've got on-foot gameplay. We can even be sat down on our posteriors in our cockpit. But at the moment, all we ever see is the cockpit and those doors that allude to what could be behind it. So I really do have one question at this point. And it's a big question. If we were to get ship interiors, now what would those ship interiors look like per ship type? Now, all of us in Elite Dangerous have become very familiar with the interior of our ship cockpits. Looking out the window, gazing at the star field, seeing the cockpit screen crack. We've also looked around, using the vanity camera, the external camera, and wondering, what does that coffee machine actually do? And where does that door lead? All that sort of thing. What's behind that command chair? Okay, well, what we're going to do today is have a little look, using the power of generative AI, on what certain ship interiors could look per ship. We're going to break it down into the industrial design, the explorers, the combat ships, and see what we could potentially have, because each ship design would have a different requirement for ship interiors. So that's what we're going to do. Some will be very twisted towards spacefaring realism. Some will have a little bit of, creative freedom. Some things that are never going to happen. But it's going to visualize typically what we could have in a perfect world. So first off, we're going to start looking at industrial ships. Now, industrial ships, we know all about these, right? These are typically Lacon ships, aren't they? Put in the comments if you think I'm wrong on that one. But Lacon ships are typically what I think are industrial, and that's been highlighted specifically with the recent Type 8. We've got all of the Lacon ships. Blocky, chunky, safe, they do the job. So what's the interior of those going to look like? Now, I imagine them to be particularly utilitarian. Showed exposed wiring, the metal floor plates, the deck plates, reinforced bulkheads and large cargo bays with dim, moody lighting. The sort of thing that wouldn't be out of place in an alien movie. It's going to be cold, metallic. The atmosphere is going to be sparse. And what do I mean by that? Well, moody lighting, very grey inside, and sort of limited, really, in regards to what people can actually have in an environment. Yes, I imagine the crew quarters would be very plush, because when you've got nothing else to do, and these utilitarian ships are going to be typically used for long-range hauling, you've got to have a little bit of crew comfort. Now, the cockpits, we've seen. The cockpits are what they are, and specifically with Lacon ships, there's a big bulbous cockpit on the front. Something that's followed its way through different design iterations of different ships, whether that's going to be the Type 10 Defender, the Type 9, the Type 8, the Type 7, the Type 6, apart from, I suppose, the Hauler, or whatever. Anyway, either way, what we can think about now is that aesthetic, that functional aesthetic. It's going to be rough materials, vast cargo holds that are going to basically put up with the shifting and moving of lots of cargo. Industrial means robust in my way. Look at a JCB. Everything's there that you need, and nothing is there that you don't. Moving on now to exploration ships. Now, this is all going to be about comfort for long journeys as well. You're going to be out in the black. You're going to be here, there, and everywhere. Your ship is going to be your home, and your home for probably an extended period of time. I think with exploration ships, it's comfort the priority. When travelling through those black, endless starry evenings, different parts of the galaxy, you are going to be relying on comfort rather than just function. You're going to need comfort and sustainability, a home away from home. If you're out for several years, where are you going to get your food from? Should there be some sort of hydroponic food generation system in the ship? Is it going to have the trappings more of a traditional household or home or abode put into a ship, especially around the captain's quarters? I mean, as we said previously, the cockpits are basically the cockpits. For exploration, I think you're going to need a bit more plushness, lighting, pictures of planets, worlds that you haven't seen for a while. All you could be looking at for a long period of time is going to be the depth of space. Personally, I think this is going to be all about sleekness, minimalist furniture, hydroponic gardens to help reproduce oxygen and food, walls lined with the technology blended into artwork and things to remind you of home. That's my opinion anyway. What do you think? Moving on to something now which I'd have a bit of a think about, to be perfectly honest with you, and that was that of the military ships. Now, with military ships, you're going to have Spartan efficiency with tactical precision. Everything is going to have its place, things are going to be stowed away. I'm talking about ships like the Imperial Cutter, the Federal Gunship. Tough, aggressive exteriors, but what about the inside? Well, these ships, everything is going to have to serve a purpose. Tactical maps will be lighting up command centres and providing that additional lighting. Sleeping quarters will offer the bare minimum, I'd imagine, in comfort. Think about bunks, for example, in a submarine or on a battleship. A cot, a storage locker, dim lighting for the pilots and soldiers on board. It's all about efficiency and survival. With a design focused on military functionality, you're going to see holographical tactical maps, steel walls, reinforced panels, utilitarian sleeping and living quarters, perhaps even communal areas on some of the bigger ships that emphasize that no-frills, combat-ready atmosphere. But what about the luxury ships, the starliners, the passenger ships? This is going to be opulence amongst the stars. As you travel from point A to point B with your passengers, enjoying the luxurious benefits of your ship. We're talking about the beluga, the orca, perhaps the dolphin. You know, in some cases, even the other ships that can have passenger modules bolted on, what are they going to typically look like? What are they going to look like for the basic economy ones when hauling refugees? It's going to be heavily used, very utilitarian. You look at the business and the luxury compartments, however, and then it's going to be plush, it's going to be opulent, there's going to be fish tanks, there's going to be velvet drapes, there's going to be carpet. Gone will the deck plates be, and you may have a more functional aesthetic in regards to, say, I'd say wooden flooring or fake wooden flooring as opposed to that deck plate. It'll be blending futuristic technology with these opulent materials. Gold, marble, plush seating, spacious lounges, bars, swimming pools perhaps. Though I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work without the water floating around, but you know it does happen. Restaurant areas, even that's akin that we've already seen in the space stations. It's going to be elegant, and those design elements, right, are also going to be married up with large windows so you can actually see the journey outside. Start thinking about cruise ships, that sort of stuff. Every corner of these ships would remind their passengers of their status in the galaxy. Now, if it's a simple bus, that's basically what you're going to get. If it's a cruise, you've got to make it feel a little bit special there, haven't you? So beauty will meet technology here, and form will blend with function in the most luxurious way possible. Now we do have ship interiors of sorts, really, in Elite Dangerous, don't we? For those of you who have ever visited a fleet carrier, that's a ship interior. It's not one you can physically fly around. I mean, you've got a crew who do, like, for my opinion, virtually nothing for that. But you do get to walk around the inside of your own fleet carrier, should you be fortunate enough to have one. There's a bar, there are shops, there's a command deck area, and also a hangar. So they do have the option of doing this. If you look at other games in the same genre, like No Man's Sky, Star Citizen, F4, these games have that option. So why not Elite Dangerous? Is this something that's coming? You've all been very vocal on the first video on ship interiors that I've popped out there. And, you know, I mean, I wouldn't say the community is torn. There are some that see the benefits. There are some that think it's a waste of time. Either way, do you dream of having your own cabin with things stuck on the wall from all your adventures? Your elite medals and certificates dotted around your live-in space? Being able to go up to a coffee machine and have that galactic espresso? Or would you rather more gameplay over a quality of life aspect which may or may not add more depth to the game? Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Be interested to see your comments on this one. If you're still with me at the end of this video, check out other videos on the subject and the Why Not series, and also other videos that I put on YouTube as well. See you soon.